Hello guys and welcome to my channel. How are you all doing? Today I'm going to react to one of Stephanie Sue's video. So it looks like our girl is back with the true crime cases. It looks like a new one. Ex-minister beats his wife to death for 8 hours, then goes to lunch date in next room. Now this seems to be a foreign case. So let's see what this case is about. Okay? In three, two, one, we'll get into it.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Bada
There's
bing,
a
bada boom.
popular restaurant across the street from the House of Ministries. The restaurant is called BAU, and because of its location, you get a lot of important people coming in and out of there on a daily basis. You could be sitting, eating lunch next to one of the most powerful people in the country. Would you even know it? I mean, maybe not, if you don't notice the 5 men that are just seated at different tables in plain clothes that are watching you. November 9th, 2023, you could probably sense that something is going on in that restaurant. It's not a normal movement of activity. Usually when a foreign leader comes into town, there's extensive planning that goes into it. You can't just stop by and say hello.
Yeah.
They bring their versions of Secret Service, hundreds of trained personnel. Some of them are in uniform, some of them are hiding in the crowd. Every single hospital in that area is scouted and prepped in advance. The foreign leader's blood is typically kept on hand, as well as antidotes for a whole list of deadly poisons.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I didn't
gifts
know
are
that.
screened for weapons, food is tested for poison, safe rooms inside of buildings. Let's say Joe Biden is going to a random target. There will be safe rooms inside of that building that have been fortified by the Secret Service.
What?
Bomb squads come in. They make sure that there's no explosive in the area. They do a full sweep. Sometimes they'll even block all the cell service in that area, all the internet access, mobile communications, all shut down for that part of the city for the time that the foreign leader is there. At the BAU restaurant across the street from the House of Ministries, a couple is caught on CCTV camera walking in for a late dinner. If there was someone standing in the security room, glancing at the CCTV camera screens, they look like any other couple. The wife looks about to be in the early 30s, the husband perhaps a bit older. But if someone were to glance
Are
at
they the
those
real
30s
couple? Or is
TV
just a
camera
random
screens,
picture?
they look like any other couple. The wife looks about to be in the early
pretty.
30s, the husband perhaps a bit older. But if someone were to glance at those security cameras at 1 in the morning, they would notice 2 very interesting things about the couple from the CCTV footage. First, they're not an ordinary couple. The man in the security footage is the ex-minister of the national economy of Kazakhstan. To put it simply, at one point, this man controlled the entire economy of the country.
My grandfather is from Uzbekistan, and these two, I believe, are very near.
His name is Bishimbayev, and he and his wife Sultanat were supposed to be on a dinner date of sorts. Or at least, that's what it looks like. Until you stare a little bit longer at the footage. At 1 a.m., the ex-minister's wife is seen on camera wearing her big black puffer jacket, her pantsuit, and she's standing near one of the building entrances. She's leaning back up against the wall, using the wall to almost support her weight. She looks exhausted. Her purse is just sitting on the ground.
Looks like they're having an argument.
Then her husband, the ex-minister, is standing in front of her. They look like they're not even having the same night at all. He looks like he just woke up, had 8 hours of sleep. He's got a full day ahead of him. His posture is upright. He's standing in front of her. His arms, his legs are shoulder length apart. He's holding in one hand a cigarette, and the other one, he's cupping his wife's face.
In this
Now,
one, before
it's
that,
very
it looked like they were having
how
the
in tune humans are with body language. Because if you were to
fight.
hear that a couple were standing there, wife leaned up against the wall, the husband is cupping her face, it sounds so loving. But there is something so predatory about the footage.
It did look
Sultanat,
predatory.
the ex-minister's wife, looks at first that she's kind of leaning into his hand on her cheek, but in reality, she's just trying to look away. She's trying to look outside. But he reaches up his other hand with the lit cigarette and forcibly grabs her face with both of his hands and forces her to look at him.
I can
Her
see
face
that.
is now in view of the camera, and she looks terrified. Her face, both of his hands, and forces her to look at him. Her face is now in view of the camera, and she looks terrified.
She does.
Then 6 hours later, at 7:16 a.m., they are still at that restaurant. They've been at this restaurant all night long. Another CCTV camera
Why?
captures the couple. Sultanat is no longer fully clothed. She is completely nude, but she is wearing the same big black puffer jacket to cover her nudity. The two of them are seen walking through the restaurant. She's walking a few steps behind her husband. She briefly stops in front of one of the mirrors on the wall. It doesn't look like she's trying to check out her makeup and see if she still looks okay. It looks like she's analyzing her face. Then she keeps walking to catch up with her husband, and 2 seconds later, the ex-minister of Kazakhstan grabs his wife by her hair, throws her onto the ground in the hallway, literally chucks her. Her jacket naturally flips open, she's barely covered, she's naked on the cold, dirty floor of this restaurant, and perhaps,
Why?
maybe for like a brief moment, everything is calm. There's like a split second of calmness, like a moment of decision, you might even say. He's standing over his wife's limp body on the ground. What is he going to do next? What should he do? The ex-minister lifts his right leg up and kicks his wife very hard. Once, twice, and then another.
Oh
as
my
hard
God,
as he
is
can
that
with
his
his dominant
leg?
leg. Once, leg up, and kicks his wife very hard. Once, twice, and then another, as hard as he can with his dominant leg. He's kicking her so hard, he's holding onto the table on the side of the restaurant hallway to maintain his own balance. That is how much force is being used.
And this is all on camera.
Yes. His wife Sultanat is on the ground trying to cover her body, but he's aiming and kicking her naked private area. And when he decides he is done, he grabs his wife by her hair, a fistful of hair, yanks her up with so much force that she's forced to stand up, and she's clearly not even capable of controlling her own body at this point from the injuries she likely just received. But he throws her up against the stone wall and slams her up into it, completely unprovoked. And he punches her square in the face with enough force that it likely completely shatters her entire nose. With enough force.
I think look at it. I think he has already punched her and it looks like it with a lot of force.
That it likely completely shatters her entire nose. It's so much force that her head slams back and hits the wall behind her. Her whole body slumps forward, and the only thing stopping her from falling back onto the ground
The table.
is him,
Oh.
her husband, because he's holding her up.
Oh,
The
really?
ex-minister of a
I didn't see him holding
that
her
it
up.
likely completely
Okay, no, I
shatters
just
her
want-
entire nose. It's so much force that her head slams back and hits the wall behind her. Her whole body slumps forward, and the only thing stopping her from falling back onto the ground is him, her husband, because he's holding her up. The ex-minister of economy of Kazakhstan. He pulls her back up by her hair and punches her once more in the face. After pummeling her in the face, he lets her slump forward and he walks off. He walks maybe a few steps away from his wife, and it's another moment of decision making where he decides that's not enough. And he walks back,
Why?
grabs his wife by her hair, slams her down onto the ground, not caring that he's harming her, not caring that this is in a restaurant. He throws her onto the ground and starts dragging her through the hallway by her hair. She's on her knees getting dragged. He drags her into a room, a restroom, with no CCTV camera. She is like a rag doll in this footage. She's not even physically capable of defending herself at this point. She is dragged in. This is probably one of the most degrading footage I've seen. Like the way that he is treating her.
Yeah, I
She's dragged
cannot.
into the restroom, and
I think she cannot show it because of the YouTube.
any and all CCTV footage of her after that is gone. But there is footage of the ex-minister at 3:30 p.m. About 8 hours later. He's still inside the restaurant, and this time he's seen having lunch with a woman.
Wait, hold on. They went to the restaurant at 1 a.m. and then the beating happened at 7 a.m. And then another, how many hours?
8 hours later.
8 hours later. So that's a long time he's been there.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're there for
that's
like
right.
24 hours.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yes, he's still inside this restaurant and he's having lunch with a woman at 3:30 p.m. A different woman, a new woman, and it almost looks like a date. November 9th, 2023, the ex-minister of Kazakhstan will sit down and share a meal with an influencer while his wife lay dying in a VIP room of the restaurant. His excuse for, why couldn't you call for help? Why didn't you get your wife out of the restaurant? Why didn't you bring her to the hospital? Well, the answer is very simple. Because Vladimir Putin is coming.
I don't get it.
We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Red Crescent Societies of Palestine and Kazakhstan. They provide emergency aid to Palestinians in Gaza, as well as aid during natural disasters such as the massive flooding in northern Kazakhstan. This episode's partnerships have also
there
made...
is flooding
We would
in
like to thank today's sponsors who have
Kazakhstan.
made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Red Crescent Societies of Palestine and Kazakhstan. They provide emergency aid to Palestinians in Gaza, as well as
That's some
aid
good
during
work
natural
they're doing.
disasters such as the massive flooding in northern Kazakhstan. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team of dedicated researchers and translators. We would also like to thank our listeners for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates of these causes. As always, full show notes are available at RottenMangoPodcast.com. We did have a professional Kazakh, Russian, and English translator who lives in Kazakhstan to help assist with the research of this case. We wanted to make sure that we get as much of the language and cultural background to fully grasp this case and do a deep dive on it. But as always, with any and all cases, but especially the international ones, please let us know in the comments if anything has been miscommunicated, mistranslated, or if you have any additional information. A few statements and quotes have been summarized and condensed for time. I do want to give a massive disclaimer, though, that this case involves many mentions of abuse, domestic violence, as well as gender-based violence, and brief mentions of SA. So please watch with your health in mind. But I do think that this is a very, very important case that more people should be talking about, at least in America. I would also like to thank everyone who brought this case to our attention, as well as Sultanat's brother. He took the time out of his schedule in the middle of the draining trial to speak with us over Zoom. We're going to talk more about him in a second, but I'm going to link his Instagram in the description so that you guys can stay updated on the case through him and just show him some support. I do believe that in today's case, awareness is the best form of advocacy, and just to let some of the officials in Kazakhstan know that the whole world is watching, I think could make a difference, a huge difference. So let's go spread this story. Let's make an ex-minister very, very uncomfortable. I would also like to apologize ahead of time if my American English, if it comes through really strongly in some of the Kazakh or Russian pronunciations. I did my best to memorize the proper pronunciations, but I apologize if they're not great. Now,
I'm saying it's okay, like it's my language, but it's okay. I think mispronouncing the names in accent and language that you don't know is completely alright.
the defendant in today's case, his full name is Kwandak Bishimbayev, but most of the media outlets in Kazakhstan refer to him as the defendant or the ex-minister, or just by his last name, Bishimbayev. We will refer to him either by the ex-minister or by Bishimbayev. Just know that that's his surname. I will not be showing most or any of the footage from the CCTV cameras on YouTube, but if you want to watch the uncensored footage that was also posted by Sultanat's brother, Aytbek, it will be available in the show notes at RottenMangoPodcast.com. Or if you'd like to watch the video version, you can find that on
Let me see where I left off. Not here. Not here either. Perhaps not. Where was
Rotten Mango Video on Spotify. Who do you call when you're in the middle of an emergency? The ex-minister of economy of Kazakhstan, he calls his most trusted advisor. He's freaking out at this point. He's on the phone. My wife, she's not waking up. I tried to wake her up to take a few steps, but she's not getting up. What do I do? Is she okay? She just sleeps and she sleeps and she sleeps. The advisor is calm over the phone. I mean, you kind of have to be when you're the advisor to the ex-minister. Her voice is soothing. It's okay. She'll sleep until the evening, but you can take her to the doctor if you wish. No, I don't want to take her to the doctor. I want you to take a look. Please, we just drank and got into a fight, and I want you to look and make sure she's fine. It is okay. She's going to come to her senses. Do you think that she's conscious, like she's still in there? Yes, your wife is just tired. Her brain is tired, so she's asleep. So she's in her right mind. Yes, she is. She is in herself. She's just very tired. She will sleep until the evening, and then everything will be fine. She will wake up and come to her senses. The ex-minister looks down at his wife's lifeless body in the restaurant. Her entire face is swollen. There's bruises, lacerations, cuts all up and down her body. She doesn't look like she's gonna be fine. But what the hell does a psychic know?
He was calling a psychic?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He doesn't call a doctor, he calls his psychic. Now, there is one picture in Kazakhstan, and it is a picture of the 10 most viewed faces in the entire nation for almost, I want to say, a week or two. They are not even celebrities. These 10 people in this photo, they're not celebrities, they're not politicians, they're just 10 regular civilians. So why is this photo going viral? Why is everybody reposting it, sharing it, sending it all over social media, mainstream media? The photo is everywhere, which is technically illegal. If you post that photo, technically it's illegal. Because the 10 faces are supposed to remain fully anonymous. They are the 10 jurors serving on the jury of one of the most high-profile controversial cases in Kazakhstan history. The photo was released as an insurance policy because the defendant is a rich, powerful person who very likely is trying to buy out the jury.
Oh god.
Wait, so he released the jury's photo because...
No, someone did. To show the world, hey, if you're gonna get bought out by this rich politician,
we know
we're gonna
who
know
you
who
are.
you are.
Yeah. That's
The
good.
jury,
That's
they
good.
do not get to live in anonymity. They don't get to walk away with a bag of cash and impede justice without people knowing about it.
That's
Wow.
good.
And
That's good.
they are not changing the jury, and
No.
they're continuing with... Wow.
Oh,
Now, the court
okay.
case in question is very strange at first glance. A powerful ex-minister of the national economy is on trial for murder
I'm gonna
and
remember his
torture.
face
The
forever.
ex-minister's wife is dead.
She's
Family members have been
pretty.
accused of pedophilia. There is a psychic who seems to be pulling the strings of very powerful people, perhaps even quietly running the country behind the scenes. And somehow, even Vladimir Putin gets involved. And the court case is all being...
I don't know why, but the whole psychic I don't want to talk about it.
live streamed right now for millions of people to watch in real time. Have you ever powerlifted 400 pounds before?
No.
Okay, probably not because you didn't have smelling salts. Please don't do smelling salts, but it is a common thing that powerlifting communities, but also like the
Okay,
NFL
like, what
use.
the hell is
Smelling
that?
salts are basically just releasing ammonia gas into your nose. If you breathe in ammonia gas, you could die. It's corrosive. It's pretty toxic to humans. And the smell is so strong. The second it hits the inside of your nose, it is the most irritating, uncomfortable, pain-inducing breath that you will take. It's so strong, the ammonia gas, that it goes to the extent of stimulating your fight or flight nervous system, which then it just pumps adrenaline through your entire body.
And we
Suddenly,
can
your
lift it
lungs
up.
feel like they are all the way open. There's an increase in blood flow, and it feels like you're gearing up for something, like you're about to go fight someone. I've never tried it, but an NFL player said, it's such a painful smell. It's gonna slap you in the face. It gets you locked, ready, and alert. There's an interesting response that smelling salts get, though. It's a reflexive inhalation response, meaning the scent alone feels like a knife is being shoved up your nose that you instinctively take a big breath in. Which is why smelling salts are also almost like a DIY of getting someone who has fainted back to consciousness. Sometimes people will put a smelling salt under someone who's fainted to try and get them to wake up.
Wait, so is it bad for you? Is it like
It's definitely not good for you because ammonia gas is toxic to humans, but a lot of people use it. I don't think it's illegal. It's not illegal.
Maybe
I mean,
it's
you
not
can
bad,
watch
but it's not
YouTubers
like that
reviewing
bad.
different smelling salts.
what?
Now went down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Wait, what?
And a few hours before, a lot of people use it. I don't think it's illegal. It's not illegal. I mean, you can watch YouTubers reviewing different smelling salts.
Oh my
Now went
god.
down the rabbit hole, yeah. And a few hours before Vladimir Putin is set to arrive at the restaurant, the ex-minister sends his cousin off to buy smelling salts because he needs to wake his wife up and walk out of the restaurant right now. Because this is not a good look. I mean, considering who the ex-minister is in the political world, the Bishenbai family. I mean, I know recently that there's been so many conversations about new money, old money, okay? But this is even deeper than that. There's something called new power and old power. New power, and this is simplified, is kind of like a celebrity. They tell us to do something, buy something, listen to something, and there's going to be impact. And sometimes it feels like they impact our lives a lot because these are the people that we're invested in. You know, we care about what they do, what they wear, who they date. But there are
Understand.
people who have way more influence over our lives. That's old power. They're the ones that sit in the conference rooms and decide how much interest rates are going to be this quarter, which you think has nothing to do with you, right? But then
No,
high interest rates slow down consumer spend. Businesses are less likely to increase wages due to increased borrowing costs, lower profits.
It does.
Suddenly, your life is changing. Or they're going to decide how much funding goes into which public schools, which honestly is very terrifying to think about because based on statistics and the correlation between funding of public schools and socioeconomic outcome of the students later in life, that means there is a group of powerful people that can almost change the trajectory of an entire high school, alter the course of every student's life based on how they allocate funding. And you wouldn't even know this person. You could walk down the street and walk past someone with that kind of power, old power, and you don't even know how this person is impacting your life. But they are. The Bishenbai family is old power.
Okay.
Meeting them is much easier than speaking with them. You see them. They're at conferences. They're holding these seminars. They're everywhere. But talking to them, you can't get close to them.
Okay.
You leave a nasty comment for a celebrity, likely nothing happens to you. But you get on the Bishenbai family's bad side, they will absolutely ruin your life. Your work, your family life, your friends, they will all be forced to turn on you because that is how influential they are in this area. The father of the family, so Bishenbai Sr., Bishenbai's dad, is a prominent figure in the academic sector. He's seemingly very close to the former president of Kazakhstan, who is quite literally one of the most powerful people in the entire nation.
Okay.
The family appear to be large property owners. I mean, they own the restaurant that the ex-minister and his wife are in right at this very moment.
Oh, that's why nobody's doing anything?
Yes. But obviously, there's still a few more people that hold a lot more power and influence than
Yeah.
the Bishenbai family. And one of those people would be Vladimir Putin. So right now, if this ammonia, the smelling salt, does not wake up the ex-minister's wife, it's not going to be a good look for the ex-minister. They need to get her up. Putin is coming to the House of Ministries, and his Secret Service are outside the restaurant trying to get in right now
Oh.
because they need to secure the whole block. They want to secure that restaurant because maybe Putin's going to decide to eat there later, maybe not, but he is going to the building right across. So everything is in lockdown, and the ex-minister's wife is laying in one of the VIP rooms, tortured, beaten, and not waking up. So he's trying to use this ammonia gas to wake
Okay,
her up.
that was a crime scene. I was like
Not
looking
waking
for
up.
where she is.
So he's trying to use this ammonia gas to wake her up. There's something called the cadence of power. Have you heard of it?
No.
No.
It's usually referred to when you talk about politicians because politicians have a very distinct way of speaking. There's almost a musical element to their speeches. Did you know that some speech writers for presidents, they will figure out the number of beats they want in the first opening paragraph before they even figure out what they want to say. They care more about the rhythm more than the words. It's very intentional. There are dedicated speechwriters that study and have test subjects where they practice these politician speeches. There's a correlation. If they're talking rapidly in a thumping, it is a fight of us against them and we will win. Test subjects stated they start to feel a little bit looser in their limbs and it quite literally makes them want to get up out of their seat. There's some like a little bit of tension building in their bodies. It puts their bodies into action. And then there's a gentle rhythm with very intentional pauses. inflections of certain words. And it's soft, but it's very authoritative. It puts people at ease, but they also feel reassured by what they're saying. They don't feel that this moment of, wait, what did they just say about that statistic? That doesn't sound right. Should I Google it? It is so self-assured. You feel like everything they say is concrete fact.
No, I understand.
And it's almost mesmerizing. That is how Bishenbaev, the ex-minister, is testifying in court. He is on trial for the murder and torture of his 31-year-old
not a
wife,
speech.
Sultanat Nukianova, and he has requested an open trial with a full jury and participation of media representatives. For the first time in Kazakhstan history, the entire court proceedings will be live streamed on YouTube. And the ex-minister will testify for days.
And he wanted this?
He wanted this. He
Why?
said he wants everyone to know the truth.
Oh,
His
God.
voice is incredibly calm when he takes the stand. There was no motive
He
or
has
intention
experience.
or purpose for me to commit such a senseless act. I loved Sultanat.
He has experience.
If we go through the ex-minister's version of events that night, it is the most impossible of impossible days. But what do we know? We're not ex-ministers of any country. The most impossible day consists of two things, two elements. It involves a self-exit and likely a political setup of some sort. Bishenbaev argues that his wife self-exited that night that they were drinking at the restaurant. But here's the creepy thing. They're drinking at the restaurant, she's wasted, none of his wife's fingerprints are on any of the wine glasses. Which, I mean, come on. That sounds like a setup, doesn't it? Someone wiped her prints. Like, what are the odds of that happening? It seems almost impossible.
I think he didn't know that there were going to be security CCTV footage, and I think he thought that maybe with, well, I don't know how this case goes. It's a very long video, but I think he thought that maybe with his experience with speech and he knows how to persuade the audience, he would be able to persuade the judges and the jury and the citizens of Kazakhstan.
But like I said, it was an impossible night.
Kazakhstan.
Anyway, he says after they got drunk, Sultanat
I
went to
think
the
he maybe
restroom
called
and,
it.
quote, by banging her head on the toilet. Then, quote, she tripped, and after that fall, she was already in some sort of condition.
Kazakhstan.
Overall, she was very weak, and she was very poorly controlling her muscles. When she tried to get up, she could no longer hold up the muscles of her torso. Bishenbaev said that his wife then lay in the restroom and, quote, by banging her head on the toilet. Then, quote, she tripped, and after that fall, she was already in some sort of condition. Overall, she was very weak, and she was very poorly controlling her muscles. When she tried to get up, she could no longer hold up the muscles of her torso. Bishenbaev said that his wife then laid down.
ChatGPT is helping me crush my university assignment.
This is a serious game changer.
Went to sleep, started snoring, and then passed away. A nearly impossible self-exit. But like I said, it was an impossible night.
I thought there's CCTV.
He thought he deleted it.
See, I
this is
told you.
before.
I told you.
Bishenbaev says in court, in his soft politician's voice, I just want to speak out. I'm faced with these horrific accusations, and I just want to tell my story, and then you can do whatever you would like with that.
Come on.
Bishenbaev continues, the most heartbreaking part about his wife's unfortunate self-exit, other than the fact that he's being framed for it, is that Bishenbaev claims that that night, the night of his wife's death, his wife confessed something very dark to him, which could be the reason why she did not want to keep living. He said that she admitted to having an affair with a well-known businessman in Kazakhstan, like a Forbes list businessman, very wealthy, but he already has a wife and 4 kids, and the wife is friends with Sultanat. Yeah. Reimbek was his name. Bishenbaev got on the stand to testify that it was quite complicated to hear his wife say such things to him. That night, he said, she said to me, verbatim, I slept with Reimbek, the businessman. Just straight up to his face. But even then, Bishenbaev was trying to comfort her. He said that they were near the exit of one of the doors and he was cupping her face in his hand, but there was just nothing more that he could do. On the stand, Bishenbaev is so convincing, Even he seems at a loss for his wife. I mean, certain moments when he talks about his wife and he's talking real slow as if he's pondering and reminiscing about
Have
her.
you seen the
He has such a
video? I hope
captivating
she
way of
puts
speaking,
the
and the
video
fact
of
that
him
he is
speaking.
one of the youngest politicians that took office and known as the golden boy of his political party, the ruling party of the country. I mean, it only adds to his credibility. And maybe he's right. He is such a powerful person. Maybe it is a setup. And he's saying that some of his wife's last words to him were, "I slept with Rainbeck." Right? How heartbreaking is that?
Она вот после этого падения уже в таком
She
каком
did.
состоянии
She
была.
did. Wait.
Is that?
Она
I
вот
need
после
to.
этого падения уже в таком каком состоянии
Right? How
Let me
heartbreaking is
just read
that?
it first and then
Она
I'll go
вот
back
после
and
этого
listen. So she was already.
падения уже в таком каком состоянии была, ну, нокдауна или вот немножко вот. В общем, она была слаба, и мышцы она плохо контролировала. Когда она пыталась подняться, она еще раз не удержала мышцы.
Хорошо, уважаемый
мышцы
April 20th.
Wait, it sounds so much like Uzbekida, my parents speak.
Powerful person. Maybe it
But I
is
don't
a
know that
setup.
language.
And he's saying that some of his wife's last words to him were,
I only know to uthar means sit down and stand up.
slept with Rainbeck? Right? How heartbreaking is that?
Она вот после этого падения уже в таком каком состоянии была, ну, нокдауна или вот немножко вот. В общем, она была слаба, и мышцы она плохо контролировала. Когда она пыталась подняться, она еще раз не удержала мышцы.
Хорошо, уважаемый
мышцы
April 23rd, 2024, 6 months after his wife's death, Bishambai's voice is echoing in the courtroom. Say it, you f***ing bitch. Say I slept with Rainbeck. There were 12 videos found in Bishambai's phone from Rainbeck is echoing in the courtroom. Say it, you f***ing bitch. Say I slept with Rainbeck. There were 12 videos found in Bishambai's phone from the night of the
thought he
murder.
deleted
The
it.
videos are so graphic, they have not been released to the public, but they have been played out in court, and we were able to hear the audios of the videos. You do see Aitbek, which is Sultanat's older brother, watching the videos in court for the first time, and his reaction, he looks gutted. It's stated that in the videos, Sultanat was forced to sit on the toilet completely nude, except for her black puffer jacket, and in the video her husband, the ex-minister Bishambayev, is grabbing her by the hair, forcing her to pay attention to him. He's grabbing her, screaming at her. Her face is so bloody that it's said that it is barely recognizable. Her eyes are so swollen she can barely keep them open. Her knees are pretty much cut open and there's blood all over her. And in the audio, you can hear Bishambayev's voice, loud, clear, commanding, clearly a politician's voice, while Sultanat's voice is very meek.
Is this part taken after she was dragged into the restroom?
Yes, after he kicked her in the hallway. We don't have much context to the videos, but the audios show Bishambayev screaming at his wife, Sultanat, to quote, "F***ing find it, come on, look for it." It appears he is telling her to look for her phone. At one point, it's alleged that she is forced to get down on the ground on hands and knees to search for her phone. She asks, "Can I use the restroom? I just want to use the restroom."
I don't know why this video is reminding me of the N2.
"No fucking toilet, look for it, you fucking slut." Then, in another clip, Bishambayev is screaming, "I just want the truth. Did you fuck Rainbeck Batalov? Did you sleep with him?"
I think
Sultanat sounds...
I don't know. I don't want to. Well, let's see. If that fact is it's proven true, then I would talk about it.
exhausted. She responds, "Yeah." But it sounds like she's just saying yes so that he can stop. But Bishambayev continues, "Say the words. I slept with him." Then you hear Sultanat make a noise that indicates that
I'm
he...
sorry if you can feel me keep yawning. It's because I'm not sleepy or anything. It's just it's my time for sleep. So like out of habit, it's almost 11:51 right
is harming
now.
her, that she is in pain. "You didn't sleep with him? Huh? You fucking bitch? Fucking lying? Did you have sex with him? Did you have sex with Rainbeck? Did you sleep with him?" Sultanat sounds exhausted. "Yes." "Were you his mistress?" "Well, apparently that's what you're calling it." "Did you have sex with him?" "Yes." And again, I just want to clarify, I don't think that these are accurate truths. I think that she's just saying whatever he wants her to say because, I mean, you see the footage in the hallway.
Yeah, it seems like he's been doing this for the last 7-8 hours.
Yeah.
Like beating her, braiding her. Yeah.
And then now she's finally like, okay, I'll say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Why? No, did you want money? There was no money, no money. Did you sleep with him? In another video, because it's the same sequence of events, but actually throughout the night, at one point he drags her to his car, but they don't end up leaving. But just for conciseness, it's multiple videos taken overnight. In another video, Sultanat is heard saying, I swear on my future
I'm sorry,
children.
me. I don't know why he's taking videos. I mean, it's good for the whole case, but why are you? It's like maybe he was thinking of watching them later, and he's sadistic in a way, or what? Like I don't understand the concept of making videos when you're torturing someone, unless it is to watch it later. There is no other reason, I believe. And that is so messed up. I mean, the whole situation is already messed up, but you know what I'm trying to say, right?
I didn't. That you never slept with him in your life? In my life. But then we
Okay,
cut to
she
another
didn't.
video and Bishambayev is grilling her again. Did you sleep with him? Just tell me you slept with him. Say, I slept with him. Did you sleep with Rainbeck? Tell me you slept with him at 21 and 25.
Why
Did you
he's
sleep
so
with him? Tell me you
persistent
slept with
all
him. Did you
this?
sleep with him? Sultanat sounds beyond exhausted and she just responds again. Yes. Say it. I slept with Rainbeck Batalov. Say it. I slept
God.
with Rainbeck Batalov. Say, I married Bishambayev, who has a photo with Rainbeck because they're friends, and I slept with Rainbeck. Look at me and tell me, how was it, huh? Say, I slept with Rainbeck Batalov. Say it. It was him. Say it. Again, I slept with him. Did you fuck him? Did you fuck him? Say, I fucked Rainbeck Batalov. I don't want to talk. I'm cold. I just want to get in the car. Say, I fucked Rainbeck. Was he your lover? Was he? Tell me, did you fuck him?
Please,
At one
not
point,
with him.
exhausted, Sultanat tells her husband, go to hell. At this point, it seems like Bishambayev's wife is having a hard time keeping her head up, and he screams at her, look at me. Did you fuck him, huh? Rainbeck, look at me. Come on, raise your head. Raise it. 12 videos of the ex-minister calling his beaten wife a slut, a whore, and forcing her to admit that she had an affair that never actually happened. To that, the ex-minister responded along the lines of, have you heard of deepfakes? It's basically a deepfake. Someone else, not him, took the videos of his wife in that. It's basically the lines of, never actually happened. To that, the ex-minister responded along the lines of, have you heard of deepfakes? It's basically a deepfake. Someone else, not him, took the videos of his wife in that condition that night, hacked his phone, pulled his voice from audios and videos because, you know, he's a politician. There's a lot of videos of him out there. Deepfaked it into him saying these horrible
I didn't understand before, but is he saying that all of these videos and all of these proofs are some deepfake? Is he crazy, or does he think the jury or the people are crazy?
things to his wife, edited into the videos that were mysteriously taken of his wife the night that she died, and then hacked back into his phone to plant the videos there. But the truth is, he did take those videos. This was not a political setup. Sultanat, his wife, did not cheat on him. She never took her own life. And they found these 12 videos on his phone. They recovered CCTV footage of him beating his wife, kicking her, dragging her by the hair. Bishambayev, the ex-minister of national economy of Kazakhstan, had beaten his wife to death in a public restaurant for 8 hours actively, but they were in there for over a day. He waited until she took her very last breath. He continued to eat, meet with other women, text workers, and try to cover up his crime while she laid there dying. And instead of calling for a doctor, calling the emergency services, or calling for help,
psychic.
he called his psychic. But worse than that, according to the autopsy, her murder actually started a month before her death.
Oh
He
my
had been
God.
slowly, physically killing her over the course of 31 days. Sultanat is staring at her brother Aytbek, and Sultanat's face is incredibly serious. She's got that determined look in her eyes. No, I'm serious, that's what it says. Your birth charts, and I've read the same thing over and over again, and I'm telling you, this is the truth. Sultanat's brother Aytbek is about to roll his eyes. It says that your purpose is to help. You're gonna provide help and change, that's what it says. Oh yeah, because that absolutely makes sense, Sultanat, considering that I work in IT, helping the world one code at a time, changing the world through software. This is silly. Aytbek is watching his little sister, and she's so busy analyzing his birth charts. And at first he thought this whole birth chart, this whole astrology thing was just bullshit, nonsensical stuff.
She was practicing on me. Actually, she started doing
Shit,
I
nonsensical
think that
stuff.
she was on me. Actually, she started doing astrology one time. So she was practicing on friends, on family members, thinking that that's all.
I
just
cannot. This is
some kind of
there is no
bullshit.
translator.
But in some time, forecast become true.
But Sultanat was never wrong. She was one of the most booked astrologists in the country at one point.
I
And
think this is the case where she kept mentioning that she is working with one of the victim's family members.
maybe, I don't know. There's always a first time to be incorrect. That's what he was thinking, because he's in IT. He's not some powerful politician that's going to influence and help change the world. So silly. But Sultanat, she would just shrug at him, and she would say her favorite line. Everything in life is already concrete. Birth charts are basically screenshots of the sky when you're born, the locations of the planets, and then based off of their coordinates or where you were born, many believe that it can teach you a lot about yourself, how you perceive your relationships, your ego, your perception of your own self. And Sultanat just had this way of interpreting these birth charts and being able to communicate her findings to people that gave them so much reassurance in their lives. Sultanat was probably the busiest one out of the whole family during pandemic lockdowns. So many people are booking her for consultations. She would lock herself in her room, spend 3 hours prepping for one single consultation. Then she would hop on a social distancing call with a client. She never had a hard stop time. So sometimes the call would just go on and on for hours for one call. And she could memorize these birth charts like nobody's business. If you were her client, one consultation, she knows your birth chart by heart. You see her 2 years later, she's still reciting what she remembers from your birth chart. And the crazy thing is, she really doesn't even need to work. I mean, to a degree she does, but not to the extent that she's working. Like that many hours on one consultation. The Nukianova family, to put it simply, nobody in the family was in dire need of money. They are not politically well connected or powerful or influential in the government arena, which is probably the most important arena in Kazakhstan, but they are very, very well established business leaders. Sultanat's grandfather was a self-made businessman who went on to have 10 children. And each of the 10 children all end up doing really well for themselves.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would say this family knows how to raise kids.
Are we having a...
One of them, Sultanat's uncle, he does end up kind of becoming a high-ranking government official in his local town. So it's nothing like Bishimbayev and his family, but it's something. And the others, like Sultanat's dad, they're in the business sectors. Sultanat's dad had this presence in trade, freight rails, and road transportation markets. So this whole family of four, Sultanat's parents, Aytbek, which is Sultanat's brother, and Sultanat, they really do not need to work, if you will. But it didn't feel like work to Sultanat. She was so into astrology, even
She's so
before the
pretty.
astrology girlies, before it's like what it is now. Sultanat was in the 5th grade when she sees this girl reading a book on astrology, and she's like, "Can I borrow that when you're done?" She reads the entire thing in one sitting, and she's so fascinated. I mean, even for the piano, she just had this memory. She's so good with energy. Okay, energy makes it sound very like wishy-washy. Vibes is such a weird word, but for example, she learned how to play the piano, and a lot of times when people learn to play the piano, they remember the exact notes. They're like, okay, these are the keys, this is what this represents, I gotta hit this one next. And it's almost like a repetition. It's a memorization of a series of keys, which she would actually remember the tone. And she would remember, okay, at this part, I feel like it needs to be faster paced. So then she'd play that part faster. And if she played it once, she could basically play it from memory.
Uh-uh.
So the same thing happens with astrology. And I don't think that she thought it was a career at first, because she went to school and I believe she studied in the UK, went to school, graduated. She likely came home trying to find a job with her degree. And she's just doing this for fun. She would do it for personal people in her lives. And everybody would go tell their friends, you got to go talk to Sultanat. If you're having problems in life, you talk to Sultanat. I mean, it got to the point where she was basically being booked nonstop, and it just naturally becomes a career. You had to book 2 months in advance to talk to Sultanat. But she did have this one rule. She only accepted women. I believe that she at one point did take male clients, and after a few sessions, she would realize, okay, this person is not actually into astrology. This person just wants to go on a date. One time she straight up shut down one of the men that was trying to do something. She just wanted them out of her life. She said, hey, listen, I'm not going to go on a date with you because I'm a feminist. I mean, this guy seemed like a straight up misogynist, so this is likely going to work. But he comes back responding, oh, you're a feminist?
You said likely would work or wouldn't work?
Likely would work. He would be like, feminism, and then he would just leave.
Oh, you're saying that would have worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he comes back responding, you're a feminist? Does that mean you like girls?
Huh?
Sultanat and her brother, they were rolling over laughing at dinner over this one because what the fork is going on?
There was a time when some guy sent the message to Instagram direct, Sultanat. He was like asking if she
Now I know what her name is. It's not, I don't remember what Stephanie called it. It's Sultanat. Okay, so she did kind of butcher the name. Okay, the name is Sultanat. It's a very common name in Pakistan as well.
would go to the
I don't know
date or
its
something
meaning.
like
I mean,
that.
Sultanat. I kind of like have an idea, but I cannot say it out loud what it means. Okay.
Guy sent the message to Instagram direct, Sultanat. He was like asking if she would go to the date or something like that stuff. And she said, I'm not going on a date, I'm a feminist. And he was asking, is that mean that you don't like men and you do like girls? We've been laughing on that story. Like.
So from then on, just female clients it was until she meets Bishambaev. Sultanat and Bishambaev's relationship, it all starts with a lie. Bishambaev comes across Sultanat's Instagram page. Now, there are some reports that this ex-politician, ex-minister, his psychic told him that he was going to marry an astrologer and marry her one day. So that's why he's lurking on Instagram for astrologers in Kazakhstan. But that's not proven. Regardless, he comes across Sultanat's page and immediately, of course, he's interested. I mean, she's stunning. She literally is incredibly beautiful. He signs up for a consultation, gets a professional but firm message back. Sultanat only accepts female clients. He's like, yeah, no, but you must not know, Sultanat. I'm Bishambaev, the ex-minister. No, thank you. I only accept female clients. Sultanat politely declines his appointment request, and so he starts sending her more messages. They go unread. He tries to track her down. She's not giving him the time of day. She's not interested. So finally, he gets a female friend of his to make up this whole backstory of why she needs a consultation with Sultanat ASAP, because like I said, you got to book 2 months in advance. And Sultanat meets up with her to help, and they start hitting it off, and the client basically tells her near the end, look, I lied. The real reason I'm here is my friend. He's truly an incredible guy, and I promise you, once you get to know him, if you just give him the chance, truly, I think that you guys would be perfect for each other. The guy is Bishambaev. Now, Sultanat agrees to meet with Bishambaev, but even he later states that she was incredibly apprehensive, just hesitant about the whole relationship. First of all, Bishambaev is 12 years older than her, but to be fair, he does look much younger for his age, and I don't say that as a compliment. I'm just stating why she might have been more open to the age gap. And he's incredibly charming. In terms of looks, I mean, she's receiving marriage proposals from very successful businessmen all over Kazakhstan through Instagram. She's beautiful. She slightly resembles Scarlett Johansson when she smiles. I mean, she's
very
just
beautiful.
stunning. Bishimbaev is not the most attractive, and he's older. He has 2 previous marriages and 4 kids from those previous marriages. So Sultanat's family and friends are like, okay, yeah, who cares if he's the ex-minister? You're way too good for him.
Yeah.
But Sultanat does not care about looks. She does not care about children or previous marriages. She said, he is one of the most intelligent and mentally stimulating men that I have ever met. Or at least, that's how he portrayed himself. Bishimbaev graduated high school at 15, graduated from the reputable Kazakh State Academy for Management, which is one of the top 2 schools in Kazakhstan. Then he went and got his master's from the other top school in Kazakhstan. He even graduated with a master's in business administration from George Washington University in the United States. And his political career, I mean, it's insane. He was the vice minister of industry and trade. Then he was the assistant to the president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan, which is the first president of Kazakhstan, very powerful person.
He was an assistant to the president?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like his right-hand man. And after that, he was appointed Minister of National Economy. I mean, which, to give you an idea on paper, that would make him one of the top 10 most powerful people in the entire country. He was actually nicknamed by citizens and politicians of being the golden boy of politics. Which, yeah, on paper, it all makes him a great candidate for marriage and for dating, but Sultanat is more intrigued by the fact that he could teach her things. He'd like to talk about economy, politics, like things that she didn't know as much about. And instead of a man who just wants to go on vacation and talk about what she can do for him, he was intellectually stimulating her. And he was super respectful. He kept telling her, I want to meet your grandmother. Sultanat's one of her favorite people on the entire planet is her grandmother. And he told her something along the lines of, I know it. I just know we're going to get married one day, whenever you're ready. But I want to get to know your grandmother first so that she can see what kind of man I am. And then eventually I can ask for her permission. Because for me, getting her blessing is just so important when she means so much to you. Within 2 months of meeting, Bishimbaev proposes.
These words are sweet, but they were intentional, I believe.
To Sultanat. They would get married December 16th, 2022, and they do not officially register their marriage, but they are common law husband and wife. After getting married, Sultanat joked on her social media, the most golden husband, not once regretted saying, yes, I'm ready to roll dough for him from morning till evening. Have you ever heard of the term watershed?
No.
I guess it's kind of like a canon event. It refers to a moment in time, a single event that changes the course of your life forever. Every single person usually has 1 or 2 of these moments. Looking back, you see 2 major events that changes everything. It changes your perspective, direction, priorities. It even solidifies who you are and what you think of the world and yourself. It's a lot. Both Sultanat and Bishimbaev allegedly had very similar watershed moments. And both of them would include car accidents with children. Bishimbaev's watershed moment involved a rumor of him recklessly driving and hitting and killing a young child with his car. It is alleged that his family paid off the victim's parents to keep them quiet. Sultanat's watershed moment involved her getting hit by a reckless driver as a child. It's unclear if Aybek, Sultanat's older brother, screamed. Like, did he scream when he saw Sultanat laying motionless on the ground? We don't know, but it was one of the most vivid memories of his life when his baby sister was hit by a car. He was maybe 10, Sultanat is maybe 5, and Sultanat is playing out in the front yard of the house. She's not even playing on the street or anything, just on the grass. Aybek is near the front window. He looks up, sees a car come out of nowhere, knock tiny little Sultanat over onto the ground, and he's running out. Maybe it was a distracted driver slowly driving down a residential area. I don't know. It's unclear, but thankfully, Sultanat only had a cut above one of her eyes. That was it. Now, side note, the driver was not Bishimbaev, even though they are 12 years apart. The whole family, I mean, Sultanat's whole family, they try to laugh about the incident. Especially later on, they would make fun of Sultanat's tiny little scar above her eye. But Aybek, her brother, remembers, ever since that moment, something changed. I mean, he just always felt nervous. He was always subconsciously looking for his little sister just to make sure that she was okay. Even when she became an adult, he never grew out of it. March 20th, 2023, 8 months before Sultanat's death, Aytbek comes home from work. And usually when he's at work, he doesn't check his phone. So he finally pulls out his phone out of his pocket. He sees a bunch of missed calls and messages from his little sister, Sultanat. He opens them up, and the first thing filling the screen is a picture of his baby sister with 2 black eyes.
Oh,
I mean, it's pretty clear. Someone punched her in the face. Like, what are the odds that this was an accident? It doesn't make sense. It clearly looks like multiple purposeful punches to the face to cause these 2 black eyes. It's definitely not some kind of slap. I mean, the picture comes with a simple cryptic message from Sultanat. Don't ask anything. I will explain later.
okay.
Aytbek, he's calling Sultanat nonstop at this point. He's worried. He doesn't know what's going on, what happened, if she's okay, where she is. He checks her Find My iPhone. The whole family shares their locations. She's
That's
at
good,
her
that's
apartment
good,
that she
that's
shares
good.
with Bishambayev. He starts driving there. He's calling Bishambayev, the husband, on the way, and he just makes things even more cryptic. Bishambayev tells Aytbek, come over and we can talk like men.
Huh?
And Aytbek, come over and we can talk like men.
What do you mean we can talk like men?
And I'm sure that drive felt like 5 hours long, where Aytbek is just running through all of these incidents. I mean, you know when you have a gut feeling about somebody, but you keep pushing it away because there's no proof that somebody is bad, and you would seem like the crazy person, judgmental, evil person, jealous person if you were to talk about them based off of this gut feeling. But likely now, on this drive, everything is rushing back to Aytbek. All those little gut instinct moments. Aytbek initially called Bishambayev Stalker Pushkin as a joke. Well, okay, it was a
Stalker Pushkin?
joke at the time. Stalker, because the way he was so aggressively pursuing
heard-
Sultanat. And
I've heard the word Pushkin before.
Pushkin after Alexander Pushkin, the Russian poet, because Bishambayev would just send Sultanat these mile-long messages professing his love
That's
for her.
why
Like
the
a
word
poet, he would
Pushkin.
write novels for her. And at the time, it was funny, but it was also kind of bothering Aytbek. He was worried for his little sister, but she would just tell him, it's because he's older, that's how older people text, and he's just very serious about finding a wife.
No.
You know, he's not like the guys my age that just want to joke around and play around. But there were other smaller things too. Like, they're so small that if Aytbek had made a big deal about it to his sister, he would be the weird one. For
Yeah.
example,
Oh
I
my
think it
God.
takes a while.
There are some moments where it's like it's bothering you, but it's like small enough that you cannot talk about it. And it's so irritating. And when the time of actually talking about something related to that comes, and all these memories, the irritation, and all of them just come back, and it has become a big ball now, that like it had been, the small things have been accumulating, and it has like become a big ball. And that is when you feel like, okay, now it is enough for me to talk about in order to not sound crazy.
Typically, for someone to start copying someone's mannerisms. I mean, I think cadence, maybe you pick up on it a little bit quicker, but Aytbek remembered after a few weeks of dating, he had lunch with Sultanat and Bishambayev, and Bishambayev would copy all of Sultanat's mannerisms. Little things, little phrases that she used to say.
I know someone who has this thing of copying people's mannerism. I mean, and like, just like I was talking about, you cannot talk about it because then you would look crazy. And I just find it really, really weird that it's usually with eating. Like, you can tell it usually with eating. The thing that I've noticed about that person is when they're eating, and the fact that, and it's not just one person that they are changing their mannerism with. It's whoever is new or whoever is important at that time when that person is copying. For example, I am the center of attention this day, this event, this time. That person would follow the mannerism, usually it's eating, of me. And if there is another person who is kind of like center of attention, for example, a guest come to your house, so that guest is definitely the center of attention, and that person's mannerism would quickly change into that person's mannerism. So it's quite fascinating, and it's something that bothers you, but you can't talk about it because it's like Stephanie said, it looks crazy.
The way Sultanat would move her hands and be very expressive when she talks, Bishambayev was doing that now, but it feels forced. It feels like it was too soon for him to pick up on all these tiny little things that Sultanat did. They'd only been dating for a few weeks. It felt like
The person that I'm talking about, the thing that I've noticed most about them is their preference in food. I'm not talking about those mannerism of movement or something. I'm talking about their preference in food. And it's such a thing that you notice it if you know that person very well.
Bishambayev was going out of his way to mirror Sultanat.
That is so creepy.
And they do say that if you mirror someone's body language subconsciously, they end up liking you more. There were rumors that Bishambayev was very difficult to work with, and that's putting it very lightly. The people who worked for him called him a tyrant, aggressive, incredibly volatile to work for. When Aytbek brought it up with Sultanat, she said she already knew about the rumors. She talked about it with Bishambayev, and he himself told her he was so young. He was under so much pressure from that kind of position. He just wanted to do a good job for Kazakhstan. But now that he's older, he realizes just how wrong that was. Bishambayev had a way of just explaining all these things in such a believable message. I mean, you don't become a politician without being persuasive. It's your whole job is making people like you. But harder to explain away was Bishambayev's conviction for bribery in 2017. He was kicked out of office as the ex-Minister of National Economy because he was caught taking a $2 million bribe. But he confidently told Sultanat and all of her loved ones he was framed. It was a political setup. That's why he received
like
a
he did in the
presidential
jury?
pardon. He was sentenced to be in jail for 10 years, but he only served 2, and then he was pardoned. Would he have been let out so soon if he were actually guilty? Then, very quickly into dating
money.
Bishambayev, Sultanat quit her job. Sultanat convinced everyone that it was because, she still loves astrology, but she just wants to focus on growing a family. But Aytbek clearly remembers hearing Bishambayev dismiss astrology as basically a stupid girl's science.
No.
Which is
No. When you see someone who is so passionate about something, suddenly drop that thing after something, they meet someone new or something changes. And I think they're not only trying to persuade the others by saying things like this, like, no, I just didn't want to do it anymore, and this is like she is doing it. Sultanat did. And they're trying to persuade themselves that no, this is the reason why I have dropped this thing and I have stopped doing it. But something is very, very wrong if they suddenly stop doing what they love. It's bad. It's really bad. So when something like this happens to your life, to someone you know, I think you should talk to that person because and you have to, because they would keep on denying it. That's one thing I gathered from all the true crime videos I have seen so far. They would clearly see the signs, and people around them would tell them the signs that no, this is not the right thing to do. No, this is wrong. But they, for themselves, would keep on denying it until it is too late. So I think every time I would watch a video where it includes something like this, I would keep on reminding myself that if I meet someone like that in my life, if I see something like this happening to someone in my life, I would have to keep reminding them again and again and again that this is not right. Because telling them just one time and then shutting up about it because they denied it, I believe this is not the right thing. It's better to be a bad person and keep reminding them than feeling guilty after something tragic has happened.
rude, but also he's one to talk because he's got a freaking psychic on speed dial giving him advice on, I don't know, how to run the national economy. But Sultanat would explain that this was because Bishanbayev is just very family oriented. So they just want to focus on the family.
Excuses like these, you know that person would never leave something for this thing, but then
Unit. I mean, everything Bishanbayev said, it made sense. Everything was always beautifully explained away, except that one incident just a few months ago. He's getting that picture from his little sister March 20th of 2023.
Okay, a year ago?
Yes. Now, January 1st of 2023, so like 3 months before this picture, there was something weird that happened.
what?
And they got married, you say December?
Of 2022. So this is like 4 months into their marriage.
So the photo was sent 4 months after.
Yes.
Wow.
And they only met 2 months prior to that.
Oh,
This is like within
Yeah.
half a year of
they
meeting
got married
Bishanbayev.
pretty quickly.
And also the restaurant happened.
November. So they were married for less than a year. Now, the entire New Year of 2023 was ruined by a perfume bottle. In Kazakhstan, New Year's is kind of like Christmas, and I'm not sure if there's a religious aspect to it. Obviously, take out all the religious aspects of Christmas. So, for example, I'm not Christian, but my family celebrates Christmas. Everybody comes over. Nobody comes empty-handed. It's very similar in that sense. There's a huge gift exchange, and it's kind of weird to not have a gift for someone at a Christmas party, right? So that's New Year's in Kazakhstan. New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2022. So heading into 2023. This is the same month that they get married. Bishanbayev and Sultanat get married. This is 11 months before Sultanat's death.
Okay.
Sultanat's brother, Aytbek, arrives at their apartment, the newlywed apartment. And it feels like a party. You know, there's kids running around screaming at each other. There's beautifully wrapped gifts piled up on the table. The adults are mingling. Aytbek walks in with his gift in his hand, ready for his baby sister. He's only going to be there for a few hours because he has other plans for the actual New Year countdown. He walks over to his sister, presents his gift, and she seems really anxious, which is kind of strange because Sultanat typically loves family gatherings. I mean, she's like, I don't want to say she's the life of the party, but she's so full of life. She's an introvert, so she enjoys a lot of time alone. But you would never think she's an introvert because she just has so
that's
much
so mean.
energy and excitement,
That's
and like
so
it
mean.
rubs off on you and it's contagious. And this is where she would have that, but she
Okay,
doesn't.
no,
She
not,
seems so nervous, and she
not with so much energy, and I'm an introvert, and I love to be alone. But the thing is that in our society and in our culture, women are encouraged to, go and I don't know how to say it. It's not like go out and do things, but it's like to engage with people more because um, in our culture, when you get married, you move to your in-laws' house, and that's the same with me. I'm in my in-laws' house now. This is my house, and then every relationship there is just so. What do you say? I mean, how would you feel when you're in your in-laws' house and you're meeting your husband's cousin and their uncle and their aunt, and it's not just one thing. Now you have to live with them. No, I don't have to live with them, but I would see them in every occasion and in every gathering. Would go to their house, and it's a whole um, family-oriented culture. And because the woman has to move to someone else's house, they are encouraged and taught to engage with people more. So I believe if I was a boy with this whole personality that I have right now, I would be sitting in my room all day. But because I have been taught and I have been encouraged to go and engage with people more often, I do tend to do that more. I mean, I love gatherings, but other than that, I love gatherings. I love to sit there and be alone. Does it make sense? Like I love it. I want to go there. I want to be there, but I don't want to talk to you. I don't know. Does it make sense or not? Like I wanna be there. I wanna be in the corner, listening to everything, watching and vibing with everything that you're doing. But I wanna be in the corner and I wanna use my mobile while doing that. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but that is just what my personality is. So going out with friends, that obviously with friends you engage a lot, and I love to go out, but I don't know if it does it make me an what do you call it? I forgot. There is an extrovert, there is an introvert, and there is another one. Ambi something I don't remember. Maybe I'm that. I don't know.
Strange, because Sultanat typically loves family gatherings. I mean, she's like, I don't want to say she's the life of the party, but she's so full of life. She's an introvert, so she enjoys a lot of time alone. But you would never think she's an introvert because she just has so much energy and excitement, and like it rubs off on you and it's contagious. And this is where she would have that, but she doesn't. She seems so nervous, and she keeps glancing at the dining table, and she's nervously asking her brother Aitbek if he thinks the table is set okay. It's just very strange. I mean, she's like obsessing over how well she set the table and the dishes, and she seems genuinely stressed out about it. Like it's interfering with her ability to enjoy herself. Her brother is trying to calm her down, like, yes, the table is beautiful. What are you talking about? I mean, it really is strange, but maybe she just wanted to host the best New Year's Eve party since she just got married. This is her first New Year's Eve as a wife. Maybe she's taken it too seriously, putting too much pressure on herself. Then a few hours later, the door to the party opens and in walks Bishambai's distant cousin. This cousin is very important. He's there at the day of the murder. We're going to call him Cousin B. Cousin B walks in and he's with his wife, and it's clear that they were uninvited. Everybody's like, what are you doing here? Like, what's going on? He's like, oh, we were on our way to our New Year's Eve plans, but you were on the drive and, we thought we could drop off a cute little gift. Aitbek glances over and Sultanat is clearly panicking because it's kind of perceived as rude to not have a gift prepared for a guest for a New Year's Eve party. That's just the way it works. Everybody's doing a gift exchange.
Okay, no, I'm not familiar with this whole thing.
He was not invited.
Exactly, but they still brought a gift, and on top of that, this is Bishambai's cousin. I'm sure there's this added layer of Sultanat wanting to be generous and welcoming to his side of the family. Like, I would much rather accidentally forget a gift for my cousin than my husband's cousin. Because I'm just closer with my cousin, right? I can explain the situation. Sultanat rushes into her room, comes back out a few minutes later with a carefully, beautifully wrapped gift for Cousin B's wife. She opens it up. It's a perfume bottle. Unopened, of course. And for a second, it seems like the social crisis is averted. Cousin B's wife looks so happy with her new gift. It's so thoughtful, it's so sweet. And Bishambai walks over, sees the perfume bottle, and in that split second, his politician face is gone. He's tomato red, and there is literally fire-burning hatred in his eyes because he had gifted Sultanat that perfume, and now she is re-gifting it to his cousin's wife.
But it's
I will
okay,
say,
it was a crisis.
regifting is very tricky. I can see how someone would be upset at a regift.
Yeah, but you have to
it's
understand.
a perfume bottle. It's likely not a sentimental gift with a lot of emotional and monetary value, especially for someone as powerful and rich as Bishambaiv. And it's from her husband.
What is he mad about?
He gave that gift to Sultanat. He gave the perfume bottle as a gift to Sultanat, and Sultanat is re-gifting it to his cousin's wife.
Come on.
Like she's not treasuring the gift from him?
I mean, it's like I can 1,000% see myself doing exactly what Sultanat did in this situation. And I think you would be 1,000% behind my decision. And if you weren't,
like,
I think you would...
I get this one. I'm not going to buy another one.
just bring it up after the party, like, hey, I really wanted you to have that, and I was really excited for you to have that. Like, I picked it out. And, but not Bishambaiv. He flips like a switch like, in the middle of this party. The best way that people have described him is, this is someone else's description, someone who knows him, not me, a monkey with a grenade. Like, you just don't know what they're about to do when they get mad. It's very unstable, unpredictable, scary. There's no way to talk reason into them, because you would imagine, like, a human, it's very easy to talk reason, like, hey, put the grenade down. But a monkey, like, you can't really talk to these animals. Like, I'm going to tell Mango to put the grenade down. Like, my dog doesn't know what I'm saying. He starts screaming at Sultanat in front of everyone, the
Oh,
children,
gosh.
his parents, Sultanat's brother. He doesn't care. He's yelling at the top of his lungs at her. What right do you have to give away my gifts? I gave them to you. You're not even thinking about my feelings at all. A few people of Bishambai's side, they try to get involved. Come on, it's just perfume. It's not that big of a deal. I'm sure Sultanat just wanted to be polite. Eventually, his parents are trying to tell him, okay, that's enough, Bishambai. But he turns on them, his parents. He's screaming at his dad to stay out of it because all his dad ever did is ruin his life and his mom's life.
What?
At one point, he starts yelling at his mom for spending so much time with Sultanat. Apparently, his mom lives in the same apartment building, just 2 floors down, and out of obligation, Sultanat would spend a lot of time taking care of Bishambaev's mom because she's trying to be a good daughter-in-law. But Bishambaev did not like that. He just straight up tells his parents to shut the fuck up, essentially. And eventually, the whole thing kind of quiets down, and Aytbek, like I said, he had plans for New Year's, and he was just stopping by, and he's very hesitant to leave now. And his sister is like, go, it's okay, like everything's good now. And he's like, you promised me you're gonna call me if something happens, and you call me tomorrow when you wake up. She's like, yes, go, it's okay. And as he's walking out, Bishambaev's mom catches up with him. So this is his little sister's mother-in-law, the wife of a very powerful family, and she just starts profusely apologizing. But something about the way that she's apologizing is making Aytbek feel weird. It's not that she's apologizing that her son is treating Sultanat like that,
Yeah, that's what I thought
but
she was
she's
doing.
apologizing that he saw it, that he had to see his sister get yelled at. It's more of sorry you had to see that versus I'm so sorry that my son did that. Like, I'll make sure it never happens again. It wasn't that.
When he gets mad, did you see if it's like his whole face changes? Was it very slow? It's like more mad and more screaming, or is it like instant?
So it's like totally two different people. Yeah. And as far as we talked with Sultanat, the person he presented himself before the marriage was totally different as the person did after the marriage. And at that point, during the New Year Eve and so on, yeah, he had this like face, like aggressive face, but there was no.
Did you know that you could be making life-changing
I
money
was
on Instagram,
listening
and
to
it doesn't
that.
even require you to have a lot of followers? The things I'm going to share with you in this video are an exact
Sorry, I'm
blueprint.
sorry. I got mad at the
physical
app.
abuse. So he was like screaming around, but he was far away, and well,
Eventually the first
that was
red
the
flag.
first, red flag. And his mom went to see back, and she was like hugging me and saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry," and she was almost crying. And as she is elder son, I felt very uncomfortable because she was feeling that way, kind of because of me, because it was looking like she was feeling bad because I saw it, not because he did it. He said that. But because I saw it.
The next day, Aytbek calls Sultanat and she tells him Bishambaev lost his mind the night before. He left after her brother left, and he left maybe like 15 minutes before midnight, so 11:45. And the tradition typically is kids get to open presents on New Year's, like right when the clock hits 0 or midnight. He walked out 15 minutes before. Now, if you're an adult here, what do? The children are already witnessing this weird aggressive tantrum from their dad. The fun atmosphere of New Year's is ruined. The best thing to try and do and lift their spirits is to let them open presents at the time that they were expecting to open presents. But around 12:05, 5 minutes after midnight, 5 minutes after the presents are opened, Bishambaev walks back into the apartment, sees all the presents are opened,
get mad
and he
yet?
flips a table. Literally, he flips the entire dining table with all the glass dishes, the food, the plates, everything that Sultanat had been stressing to make perfect, flipped onto the ground.
Oh God, I forgot about her wanted to make the table look beautiful. All her efforts.
Ultimately, the whole ordeal felt incredibly alarming, but also very childish, like a little Nepo baby politician throwing a tantrum. At no point did Bishambaev ever get into Sultanat's face or up close and personal with her. Even the things he was saying things like, why don't you care about how I feel? That was my present that I wanted you to have. Why don't you think about me? I picked it for you. So do you see why Aytbek sees it more as childish than like, he's violent?
Yeah.
Because it's very like, me, why don't you care about me?
Oh, you're saying the brother at that point thought he's
Yes.
just a giant baby that would throw a tantrum.
Yes.
Okay.
Because even the words he's saying is like, how, it's not like, how dare you? Like, you're it's
I
very
mean,
like,
because
my feelings feelings. I wanted you to have it from me. Like it's
Got
feels
it.
very childish. Even the presents that the kids opened, he was crying. Like he wasn't crying, he was screaming. Why don't you care about how I feel? I picked them out. I wanted to see them open it. He did think it's a very red flag, and he saw it as a strong, like, okay, I need to keep my eye out on this guy.
Yeah.
But he was not connecting it as he is hitting my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't ever getting in front of Sultanat's face. Like, it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
But Aitbek decided ever since that day, he was going to keep an eye on Bishambayev.
Yeah, you see, that's what I was saying.
Likely.
Like, I think I'm gonna stop here for this one. I'm gonna make a two-part of this because it's really, really long. It's too, like you can see how long it is. But I think I'm gonna stop here and I'll record the next one for the next video. Okay? So far in the case, it's very, very infuriating. The thing is, the way these people with power and money think that they can just do anything they want, it's just so bizarre and actually so true. They think this way because they can do whatever they want. It's only very less cases when everything is against them. Like what can't you buy with money? In this world now, I think everything you can buy with money and power. So I think this is it for the video. I don't know. I don't have much to say about this because I don't know all the facts, and it's just I'm speechless because of this case. I really can't. But I hope I'll see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.